Good morning. It's it's Saturday, almost 9 o'clock, and I decided to do this instead of take a wild guess. Something, in the backyard. I'm working up my my mojo, or what's the word? Not courage, because I'm not afraid of it. But my backyard, I'm not kidding you guys, is like this. Yeah, I still haven't mowed the backyard yet. So I'm gonna do it, don't come down on me too hard. All right, now, for those of you that are new here, this is the Mad Camper. I'm Jim, and my story is I retire in 3 years, and then I'm going, ooh, did I just give you the finger? Sorry. I'm retiring in 3 years. I'm going to sell everything in my house. I'm going to sell the house and then go on the road full time in my 30-foot trailer. All right. So I'm also a recent pancreatic cancer survivor. So, you guys, and I talked to some people at work about this because I've been going back to work now. I go to work on Thursday and Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I work here at home. It's called the hybrid or whatever. Anyway, I was talking to some people at work, and it was so great. If any of you are watching, it was just so great to see you guys, to finally get back to work and see my work buddies, and those of you that gave me hugs, it's like, thank you. Aww. Like, wow. I mean, women, not, the guys don't do that. Well, kind of, the, this, and the, so anyway, I was talking to some people at work, and it's kind of like, have you guys heard of what's called survivor guilt, where you're in a car with 5 people and there's like a severe accident and you're the only person that survives the accident? There's some psychological stuff that goes on there, right? Why me? And the reason I'm saying this is because my experience with chemo and my surgeries and stuff, it was not fun. And I've said it before, and I've said this over and over too, but there are a lot of people going through treatment and stuff right now that are probably suffering way worse than I ever did. I mean, there were a couple times where my pain level was at 9, but a point I want to make is thank you to those of you that have gone out on posts and put comments out there for Jean Marie and, a lot of the other people that are, have had, recent surgeries and stuff. And you guys are just the best. You guys are awesome. And that. Thank you so much for just, you encourage each other, and I kind of feel bad that I'm not out there doing more comments and stuff, but, breaks. Excuse me. Breaks? I don't know. But anyway, thanks for leaving comments for each other. Okay. When I created this channel, I started getting tons of encouragement, right? And then people started saying, I'm kind of going through the same thing. I'm on chemo number 12, and I've got a few more to go. So I would put those comments out on posts, and the community, the Mad Pack, all right, Mad Camper, Mad Pack, you guys just started. So it's just, I kind of feel like I accidentally kind of created this really cool community. So good job, you guys. And so what I want to do, I've got some funny, interesting stories, and then I want to go and reply to your comments on the last video. Should I get a dog? And you guys, I actually took that video offline. I don't know. I made it unlisted. So, but it just, I don't know. I didn't have a good feeling about it. It was really long and boring, and I don't know. It just wasn't my best work, but thanks to those of you that left comments for that, I got a wide variety of comments. One of you said, maybe you should go out and get some actual friends. Get out of the house and do some social stuff with real human friends, which is a good point. I've been cooped up in here, but I do have friends. Okay. So, yeah, but some kind of funny comments and a lot of encouragement. Yes, get a dog. It would give you a really good routine, get outside, go for a walk twice a day and stuff. And so you guys, I'm on the fence. I think for right now, I'm not going to get a dog just because I was processing it again. I have enough crazy stuff going on. I have enough work to do. The trailer renovation, getting solar panels up on the roof and doing all that stuff. And, I've got a lot going on. So to add another level of, complexity, responsibility, huge responsibility, right? Responsibility, cost, and I know there's a ton of benefits. It's been scientifically proven when you pet your dog, they get a lot of benefit, but it releases a lot of endorphins and a lot of, not oxycodone, that's something else. But they're the hormones, the really good, the feel-good hormones. Petting a dog or a cat, it helps you feel better, right? So I get it, but I'm just thinking, you guys, right now is probably not good timing. So I think what the plan will be, once I get all my crap in order and the trailer is like ready to go, right? I'm ready to, and I've taken a couple of shakedown trips, which means go somewhere close, state park or whatever, and test all of your systems, the solar, run your air fryer, run your, stuff, make sure stuff doesn't melt down like it did last time, right? Test all of your water system, the water pump, your fresh tank, your gray tank, test dumping your tanks, all that stuff. Make sure everything works. Then, then think about taking off full time and going to South Dakota. That's the first place I'm headed. I'll tell you more about that later, but there's a certain spot in the Badlands where you camp for free on the edge of this cliff. And so you camp, like if you're looking at it from the top down, here's the cliff, right? Here's the trailer. So all of this is just all Badlands and just really, wow, absolutely beautiful. And I'll fly the drone over there and get some good drone shots. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to mow. Thank you for your comments on the dog video, even though I took it down. And thank you for all the other comments that you left on like 2 videos ago. And I will be responding to those too. So, all right. Now, remember my goofy tooth saga, my dentist saga? Well, I have a new crown, right? So you guys, is it normal to get a new crown and it hurts when you chew on it? I can't chew on this. It really hurts. So it's like, my experience with this dentist is like, like 1 star, do not recommend, right? First of all, the hygienist was like banging around this metal thing, and broke my tooth, Well, so now I've got a new crown and it hurts. So do I go back and have them fix this, or, find a different dentist? Like, I feel like if I go back and have them look at this really painful, crown, the hygienist will come in and like bang around in there and do something else and break another tooth. I don't know. So then the other thing is, remember I told you they gave me my old crown back because there's gold in it? And I'm supposed to send this away and get money back for the gold? Okay, so what I decided to do instead of that, oh, wait a second. I don't have, wait, hang on. Okay, sorry. So instead of sending that thing away, the old crown with the gold in it and, get money back, no. Because I'm a highly experimental kind of a guy, right? I'm going to don't try this at home. I'm going to try to smelt that gold, smelt, where you melt, I'm going to melt that gold myself. And I think I'm going to end up with a little tiny, I looked at it. Okay. So there's like, I'll end up with a tiny little, piece of gold. But instead of getting like $3 back, I think it would be more worth it to melt this gold down into a little nugget and then bring it with me in the trailer. And I told you guys before, I have, well, it used to be leaning over here, but I've got a metal detector. I'm going to be doing a lot of metal detecting out in the desert, looking for meteorites because they're worth a lot of money. But so if I have some friends that are camping nearby, I'll come back and go, you guys, look what I found. I found this little gold nugget. So, and then I'll say, no, I'm kidding. This is part of my tooth that the hygienist broke. So I think there's more value in the humor than just $3, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna send this in. And by the way, talking about smelting, so back in the day when I was buying pop, 12 packs of, and I would do the Aldi brand, whatever, kind of an off-brand 12 pack of carbonated water with natural flavors. So there's like lemon lime, there's raspberry, so I drank a lot of that stuff because it's way better than, do not drink Coca-Cola, you guys. Coca-Cola, if you pour it in a glass and put a penny in there, it'll dissolve the penny. So what's that doing to your stomach? So anyway, but so I had a ton of these aluminum cans that I was bringing out to the recycling. But then I thought, I was watching some YouTube videos or whatever. So this is how crazy I am, you guys. So I bought a crucible. All right. So bear with me. So this is a chimney charcoal starter. I think it's called a chimney, right? You put charcoal in there and some newspaper and it starts your charcoal, right? So what I did is I put the crucible in here. Well, I put some charcoal down in there first, just kind of a layer of charcoal, put the crucible in there. And then I filled the edges all around the crucible with charcoal. And then science. So then I built this thing. So it's just, 6-inch vent pipe. And it looked a lot better when it was new. But so I did this. So this was under here. All right. And I was doing this in my fire pit in the backyard, right? So this, I had a hair dryer. So this was blowing air up into the chimney. So the coals got like red hot, right? And so the crucible got like super hot. And so I would shove aluminum cans in there and they would just dissolve. Like they melted like immediately. So then what you do is, well, after you're done like shoving all your aluminum cans in there, there's ink on the can and there's, impurities, right? So you have to scrape off the slag, right? I know what I'm talking about. I did like the smelting thing, so I kind of have an idea. But you scrape off the slag. Then I bought these little molds, ingots, and these are actually made out of graphite. Very interesting because graphite can handle very high temperatures, right? So I poured the liquid aluminum in here. And then I have no idea what I did with them after that. I can't find them anywhere. I was out in the garage looking for them because I wanted to show you like a finished aluminum ingot, and people sell their aluminum cans. They bring it to a recycling place or whatever, but it's like they've got these great big garbage bags full of cans, right? So it's a lot more efficient just to bring a little ingot and get money for your aluminum. But it's like something this size would probably be, I don't know, $3 or $4. So it's like, all that work. But those of you that know me, I just do stuff just to experiment and just to prove to myself that, that I can do it. Right? It's like, all right, I know what smelting is all about. So, yeah, interesting story. But does anybody need a crucible? If you want to, let me know if you want this. I'll ship it to you for free because this is really heavy. This is not going in my trailer. Let's see. What else? And by the way, I'm going to have a lot of leftover pieces of copper. When I'm building this thing and I cut these great big cables, I'll have little pieces of, so I'm gonna melt that down into little copper ingots. Hey, you guys, I was metal detecting. Look what I found. Okay, now. I'm not sure who I should complain to. So I did a bad thing. I was lazy. I didn't feel like cooking. So I ordered DoorDash. Super expensive, right? So I get it. I don't need a lecture on how expensive DoorDash is. So just save your comments for somebody else. But anyway, so I ordered Asian. From Hy-Vee. It's a local grocery store. I don't know if it's where you are. So I ordered like the family pack or something. So I got like Mongolian beef and then I got, sesame chicken and it comes with noodles, and stuff. And, and they throw in a couple of fortune cookies, right? So, yeah, so I was, I'm always kind of excited to read the fortunes, because it's really hard to do this, right? So the Tibetan monks, in Tibet, they cook the cookies and then they're sitting there like, just trying to get the fortune in there, right? So no, they really don't. That was a joke. But anyway, so I got 2 fortune cookies. And so the first one says, goodness is the only investment that never fails. oh, that's true. Don't invest in Tesla. I'm just saying. Now, don't. I'm just saying. We don't talk politics on here, but So then I'm like, oh, that's a good one, right? So I opened the second fortune cookie. Guess what this one says, goodness is the only investment that never fails. Been there, done that. So have any of you gotten the same fortune twice in a row? I want to return one and get a different one. So do I stick this in here and like march into Hy-Vee, which is, I don't know, like 2 miles away? You know what? I got 2 identical fortunes. I want a different cookie. That has never happened to me before, right? Even if you have like 10 people in a group and you all read your fortunes, you never get 2 of them the same. But it's like, leave it to me. That's what I'm saying, you guys. Something crazy happens like every day. So let's see. What else do I have? I had a bunch of stuff. Last time I told you, we talked about that strawberry plant that came up in my yard out in the middle of nowhere, but turns out it's not a strawberry plant. It's stinging nettle. Well, I told you I'm going to take some of that plant and kind of crumple it up and just rub it on my arm and see if I have a reaction. Well, then doing the research, it's like, wait, hang on. Is stinging nettle dangerous? Yes. The stinging nettle can be dangerous in a few ways. Skin irritation. They have tiny needle-like hairs that inject irritating chemicals like histamine and formic acid into your skin when you touch them. This causes a painful, burning, itchy rash that can last several hours or even a day. The rash typically appears soon after contact. Allergic reactions. Although rare, some people can have a severe allergic reaction to stinging nettle, which can be life-threatening. Seek immediate medical help if you experience symptoms like difficulty breathing or swallowing, wheezing, swelling of the mouth, tongue, or lips, tightness in the chest or throat, dizziness or fainting, nausea. I'm like, okay, I told you guys that I was going to do this for you as entertainment, right? Interactions with medications. Stinging nettle may interact with certain medications, including blood thinners, blood pressure medications, diuretics, diabetes medications, and lithium. What's lithium? Isn't that for what I should be taking for my ADD? If you're taking any of these medications, consult with your doctor before doing something stupid on YouTube. So it goes on to explain how to deal with it after you're stung. So I'm really sorry, you guys. I'm deciding, it's kind of like mowing. I'm deciding not to do that right now. Because I'm in a little bit of a compromised, what's it called? Your immune system is compromised, not so much anymore as when I was on chemo, but still, it's like I'm still recovering, right? So, I thought I had a couple of other things. I have a list, a list of funny stories, but I was looking for it earlier, but I couldn't find it. So I'll do that later. So, where are we? We're at 25 minutes already. Well, I'm going to have to cut this off. My funny stories typically get to be too long. I'm sorry. I'm such a blabbermouth. But so anyway, I hope you guys are having a really good day today. And hope you do have a good day today. Good day, eh? Again, I always say, if you're having a hard time with anything, whether you're in treatment, you've just had surgery like Jean Marie, or, anything at all, please feel free to leave a comment here and I'll put it out on posts and you will get a lot of encouragement. Okay. So, if any of you are in that situation, please don't be shy. Okay. Because man, over the last year and a half, I've told you guys a lot of my stuff that was going on, right? So take that. You owe me. No, I'm kidding. So I'm going to have to do your comments in separate videos. Otherwise, these just get to be way too long. So have a good Saturday, all right, for my Australian friends down under. Let me know how my accent's coming out, all right? It's still terrible, but have a good day, you guys, and I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye. Science